Welcome to Narrative Nook Audio Tales, where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
This gal only took up a job at our school out of respect for me. All said and done, she has only taught a couple of classes to the students. But she's a busy bee, and I can understand that. As to why she chose Westerly College, well, Grandpa Beck taught her so much about medicine that she had surpassed her teacher. She desired to give back, and Grandpa Beck wished to study some drugs. Working with her, he could make faster progress. The old professor finally understood why the best students did not choose their school. It turned out that the student was already a mysterious special professor with a higher rank than him at Summerfield College. He even invited her personally to study here. What an insult to the face. Arabella closed the news app and was about to take a breather when her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a call from Grandpa Philip. "Oh Bella, you are just too wonderful. Top scores in so many subjects. I'm so proud. I've got to reward you. Anything you fancy?" Philip's voice was full of cheer and excitement. "Nothing. Studying is my duty. There is no need for a reward," Arabella said with a gentle smile. "Come on, my dear, I must reward you. If you have no particular preferences, then I'll choose for you." "Grandpa, you really don't need to bother." "Bother? Rewarding you can't be deemed as a bother. The Macmillan family's money is your money. Don't feel compelled." Arabella didn't know what to say. "I'll give it some thought," said Philip, then suddenly asked, "Has Romeo given you any gifts?" Arabella answered truthfully, "No. That rascal, you got top scores, and he didn't even reward you." Philip was about to get mad when he got an idea. "Bella, don't tell Romeo that I'm sending you a gift." Arabella was somewhat perplexed. "If his gift is more fun or valuable, then I lose. I'll deal with him after I send mine." Philip spoke at length before hanging up. Arabella's phone buzzed again just as her ears were settling down. This time, it was a message from Kelly. "Bella, are you free at 8 tonight? I got the pill you wanted in Northshire, only one left. But I have something to deal with right now and can't come back immediately. I'll have my guy deliver it to you. Can you make it to the airport by 8 tonight? My guy's catching a flight to Summerfield and has a 5-minute window." Among the medicine her grandparents needed next, there was one called tranquilizer, which was useful for treating brain injuries. But extracting tranquilizer took several days. Buying it directly from the black market could save time. Arabella quickly responded with her slender fingers, "I'll be there on time." No matter what, she had to get that medicine tonight. Meanwhile, Yolanda was stunned by the news for a moment before she realized, Mom, Arabella seems to have gotten all A's. How is that possible?" Olga walked over, took her phone, and glanced at it. Sure enough, the phone showed Arabella had gotten top scores. Was Arabella the daughter of the Collins family? Is she really from the Collins family? Olga suddenly recalled the incident at the piano awards ceremony. Yoli plagiarized Arabella's piece, and shortly thereafter, Kenneth announced that anyone who cooperated with the Murphy family was an enemy of the Collins family. Could it be? Olga nearly tripped, but Atlee quickly grabbed her and asked, "Are you okay? You seem shocked." "Sure, she got top score, but it's not that big of a deal." "Atlee, the news reported that her name is Arabella," Olga gasped, taking a while to get her words out. "Arabella, could she be Kenneth and Louise's daughter? The billionaire's daughter?" Atlee squinted at the news and stated, "There's no picture of her on the news though. Maybe this top scorer isn't our Arabella." Deep down, Yolanda was filled with dread. If Arabella really was the lost daughter of the Collins family, then the Murphy family would be leagues behind the Collins. The difference between the Murphy family and the Collins family was night and day. The news didn't mention the high school attended by this top scorer. Before Atlee could finish, Olga nudged him. "Quick, call Arabella's former teacher and confirm if this top scorer is her." Was this girl truly fortunate to achieve the highest score once again and also be named Arabella? Atlee was still in shock. "Call now." Prompted by Olga, Atlee dialed the number, his face pale. And even more so, when the teacher on the phone said, "I just sent Arabella a text congratulating her and she promised to come back to our school for a speech." "Mr. Murphy, did you not know your daughter is a Collins? The teacher discovered over the summer that Arabella was not a biological Murphy, but had returned to the Collins family. Regarding the specifics, she was unaware and hesitant to inquire. Atlee was bewildered as he did not know how he had hung up the phone. Well? Is the top scorer her or not? Olga pressed, speak up. Without thinking, Atlee nodded, still in a daze. Arabella not only was the top scorer, but she also received full marks. The teacher was showering her with praises over the phone. Turns out, she's always been a top student in high school. Olga was shocked. What did you say? Dad, Mom, whether she's a top student or not isn't the point. The question is whether she is a Collins or not. Dad, why don't you call the Collins group? Atlee suddenly realized that if Arabella had returned to the Collins family, people around her would definitely know her. With their status, even if they can't contact the Collins family, they could at least contact the receptionist at the company, right? With that in mind, Atlee called the receptionist at the Collins Group's headquarters. Hello, this is Atlee of the Murphy Group. I saw on the news about a top scorer named Arabella. I wanted to ask if she's Mr. Collins' daughter. I wanted to give him a call to congratulate. Sorry, Mr. Murphy, I'm not sure what you're getting at. I don't know much about the Collins family's personal affairs. But as far as I know, the Collins family only has one daughter. Is it Serena? Atlee asked anxiously. Yes. After hanging up, Atlee felt relieved. Thankfully, Arabella was not the Collins' biological daughter, otherwise their past actions could have put the Murphy family in trouble. Olga felt relieved when she heard the receptionist's words. I was so scared, thank God she's not the Collins' daughter. After all, the last name is pretty common. Overseas. A trendy, handsome, and sunny boy had just finished recording for the day and was rushing off the set, heading for the airport. David, where are you off to? His manager was hustling to keep up with him. It's so late already, are you still going back to see your sister? There's a celebration party up next, everyone else can skip it, but you must go. David, are you even listening to me? His manager was frantic, chasing and fuming. What's the rush, dude? Just as David Collins stepped into the elevator, his manager chased after him, barely making it in before the doors closed, panting heavily. No one's chasing you, why are you darting off without even waiting for me? Your fault for having short legs and walking slowly. The handsome boy with striking features finally spoke, his handsome face flawless. Looking at that handsome face, the manager could not even find any anger in him. He had no choice but to explain, I understand you're in a rush to see your sister, but we've already delayed it for so many days, one more night won't hurt, right? Just because she's not your sister, you're not in a rush, right? David arched his handsome brows in a warning. There's no negotiating this, I have to go back tonight. Alright, if you insist on going back, I'll book the flights, okay? The manager stepped out of the elevator, pulling out his phone resignedly. He was probably the most powerless manager in history. For the previous 3 months, they had been part of a variety show. The show was called Dream for Young, telling the story of a group of teenagers who, through various rounds of selection, became the top 99 performers. The show's producers sent them to a stunning foreign location for a 3-month training period and performance competition. Being a top international superstar with exceptional singing and dancing skills, David was poached by the show's producers to be a home coach and music mentor, guiding these trainees in Dream for Young. As a result, David had been in this place for a full 3 months, training the trainees and imparting professional knowledge every day. Finally, the last day of recording ended, and he left in a hurry, eager to get home to see his sister as fast as possible. He had already delayed it for too many days. If it were not for nurturing newcomers, promoting a flourishing entertainment industry, and setting an example for the younger generation, he would have quit halfway to go home to see his sister. His manager, Klein's point was that there was a celebration party that night where all the staff and selected teenagers would attend. The matter of seeing his sister had already been delayed for so long, a little longer would not matter. But David insisted on going back. Well, his manager had spoiled him. As the plane finally took off, David stared into the distance, his eyes filled with a touch of trepidation and unease. Do you think that my sister will like me? His voice was very pleasant. Of course she will. Klein answered without hesitation. You're such a popular star, so handsome and full of energy, who wouldn't like you? Look at those fans, every time they crowd the venue so tightly, shouting they want to marry you and have your kids. Every time you appear, traffic grinds to a halt, and even the cops must be dispatched to maintain order. Considering your popularity, your sister must have heard your songs, and there is a good chance she is your fan, following behind you with a pen, hoping to get your autograph. You can relax. David was thinking that if his sister really digs his music, he could put on a private show just for her, where she could not only get autographs but also take as many pictures with him as she wanted. The best seat at the concert would always be reserved for her. He would even take her along when he was on TV. As long as his sister was happy, nothing else mattered. Meanwhile, his sister had just woken up and freshened up, and as she was coming downstairs, she saw Serena looking all green-eyed, wishing she could tear her into pieces. "Bella, you're up?" Louisa, sipping her coffee on the couch, looked at her coming down the spiral staircase and chuckled. "You've been out for a whole day. You must be starving, right? There's still warm food in the kitchen, go grab some." Edith next to her grinned. Miss Bella bagging the top spot means she's got a ton of studying to do. Now that the results are out, she can finally get some sleep without any worries. She must have been sleep-deprived. "This kid is such a nerd," Louisa comments, looking at Arabella. "Bella, at home, you can sleep as much as you want, no stress is needed." Arabella gave a small smile and said, "Sounds good. Oh, and by the way, Philip Macmillan had his personal butler deliver some gifts earlier. They are to congratulate you on your perfect score. Romeo also stopped by. But when he heard you were sleeping, he didn't want to disturb you, so he just left his gift." Following their gaze, Arabella saw the gifts from Grandpa Philip and Romeo piled up like two small mountains, like they were in a competition or something. Was all that fuss really necessary just because she got first place? "Do you want me to have these gifts moved to your room?" "Sure." Philip's butler claimed that he carefully chose everything in there. "It must be very valuable. Philip is so generous. It's clear that he really likes you." As Louisa said that, Serena bit her lip in envy, her jealousy evident. It was like she wished she could be in Arabella's shoes. Arabella suddenly realized, no wonder Serena was giving her the evil eye when she came downstairs earlier. It was because of that. Thinking of that, Arabella's lips curled into a smile. She felt even better. After grabbing a bite, she said goodbye to Louisa, then headed out with her car keys. Just as she stepped out of the main hall, she saw a servant leading a young lady in, who was carrying a bunch of gifts. Arabella had seen this lady a few times before. She always brought gifts when she came to visit Kenneth and Louisa. Apparently, her name was Sunny, and she seemed to have had the hots for David, but Arabella wasn't interested in the details. Since she was a bit far away, Arabella did not bother to say hi and instead headed for the garage. The road to the airport was getting more crowded. A drive that usually took 20 minutes, Arabella had already spent 40, and she was still not on the main airport road. Did something big happen that made people want to get out of town early? Why else would there be such a rush to the airport? Even though she left early, she ended up stuck in a traffic jam near a bridge close to the airport and couldn't move forward. She might miss Kelly's assistant's appointment and be unable to obtain that crucial pill if things continued in that manner as the minutes passed. With that thought in mind, she revved up the engine and tried to find a way through the jam. Many people stuck in traffic suddenly heard the roaring of a sports car, then saw a white speedster zoom past them, charging down the road. Loads of cars were stuck on the bridge, but this white speedster maneuvered through the narrow gaps with ease, hurtling forward at breakneck speed. Unbelievable. How did she manage to get through such a tight space? Is she a professional race driver? Where on earth is she rushing to? Finally, in the last 5 minutes, Arabella parked her car haphazardly by the side of the road and sprinted into the airport at top speed. The place was packed to the rafters. Many people were holding up glowing signs, each bearing the name David. Others were holding up photos and banners, clogging up the whole airport. Arabella found it hard to move. How popular could this star be? She did not usually keep up with the entertainment scene, so she did not know much about this top-tier star. Suddenly, her phone rang and it was an unknown number. "Miss Bella, I've just landed, can you?" Before the sentence was finished, the entire airport went berserk. "Ah, David! David! David!" A flood of fans rushed towards Gate A. Arabella was jostled by the crowd, her slender figure swaying. She could not hear what the other person was saying, the noise was deafening, almost bursting her eardrums. "Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?" Arabella could hear the person on the other end of the phone shouting, but it was too noisy on her end to hear anything. "Oh my God, there he is. Let's go. He's so handsome. I love you. I want to marry you." The handsome, sunny star had just stepped out of Gate A, and a horde of fans rushed up crazily. All the airport security personnel were dispatched, trying their best to maintain order, but this star was so popular that they could not hold back the crazy fans. "Wow, David. David. I love you, David. He's so handsome." Another day of swooning over his good looks. His body is perfect. Even a photo can't hide his handsomeness. Arabella was at a loss for words, thinking these people are nuts. She hung up the phone decisively, texting the person, "Which gate are you waiting at?" "I'm at Gate A, behind that star." Arabella's gaze bypassed the star, and from a distance, she finally saw the person waving his hands behind the star. The star was too tall, so the person had to keep jumping and waving his hands, trying to get Arabella's attention. Even though Arabella noticed, with the crowd surging and the deafening noise, she could not get to him. The big star donned sunglasses and a baseball cap, his features were all covered up. He waved and nodded at his enthusiastic fans, looking very friendly. Arabella wanted to squeeze through to get the pill, but the situation did not allow it. Time was ticking away. The assistant was also anxiously trying to maneuver, jostling in the crowd, trying to get closer to Arabella. Finally, they were less than 2 meters apart. The assistant took out a small bottle, stretching his arm to pass it to Arabella. Just then, the star was about to leave. The fans went crazy chasing after his figure, and the crowd surged. Arabella's fingertips just touched the bottle, but before the assistant could let go, the crowd pushed in. Somehow, the assistant found the bottle cap in his hand, while the bottle was already in Arabella's hand. When Arabella finally got the bottle, she should have been delighted, but instead, her face grew pale as she realized it was empty. The pill had somehow rolled out and fallen to the ground. Arabella's eyes sharpened, and the assistant was scared. If they could not find that expensive medicine, Kelly would make her pay. Arabella saw the pill fall near a fan's foot. She bent down to pick it up, but saw the fan suddenly take a step forward, kicking the pill forward. Arabella watched as the pill rolled under the star's foot. And the next second, the star took a step forward. The pill was crushed. The assistant's face grew even paler as realization crept in that they were done for. That male star crushed that expensive pill. Worse still, the pill stuck to that male star's shoe sole, and just like that, the pill left with the star. Arabella was fuming. Those crazy fans were too much. Now, even if she wanted to chase after it, she could not catch up. That tranquilizer made pill slipped away from her. What a crappy day. When half of the fans had left, the assistant finally squeezed Arabella, full of guilt, and said, "I'm sorry, Miss Bella, I don't know what happened. The pill just fell out. Forget it." Arabella knew there was no point chasing it now. Even if they got it back, the medicine was dirty and couldn't be consumed. "Did you miss your connecting flight?" "I messed up both tasks Kelly gave me." The burly assistant was nearly in tears, like a child who made a mistake. Kelly wanted him to deliver the medicine and catch a connecting flight to do something else. Now both tasks were delayed, and Kelly also lost money on the pill. He could already imagine how horrible his fate would be. Arabella looked at him sympathetically and said, "It's not your fault. I'll tell Kelly you have nothing to do with this." "Thank you, Miss Bella." The assistant was moved so much. "If there's anything you need in the future, just let me know. You can go." As Arabella was leaving the airport, she called Kelly, who couldn't stop laughing on the other end. "Is this star really that popular? If the fans hadn't been in the way, I bet you would have made your move." Arabella was about to tell her the name of the star when she noticed that her car, which was parked by the side of the road, had been severely scratched, likely by the fans who were pursuing the star and making it look awful. What a disaster. While it was still light out, Arabella drove the family car to a nearby garage. After all, it would not be right to just drive it home as it was. The garage owner said the car would not be ready until the next day. Arabella paid up, left her contact info, then hailed a cab back home. As soon as Arabella reached the entrance of Reflections Villa and jumped out of the cab, her phone suddenly started ringing. "Boss, we've got some leads on the fire that happened back then. We caught 2 suspects, but they're tight-lipped. I'm worried if we push them anymore, they might crack. Could you swing by?" "Sure." Arabella hung up the phone, noticing the cab driver was still there. She hopped back in. "Take me to Villa Cascada." "Wait, you mean the Villa Cascada in the sticks?" the driver asked, surprised. "Apparently, it's some rich dude's private pad, no folks allowed. Rumor had it the rich guy was touchy. If any vehicles trespassed, a row of pillars would pop up from the road to stop the vehicle. And if anyone got curious and stepped out of the car, they might run into heaps of bodyguards. All in all, no one dared to go there." The driver glanced at the rearview mirror. Did this young lady know someone at Villa Cascada? First, it was Reflections Villa, now Villa Cascada. This young lady must be someone special. But if she's that high up, why didn't she have her own driver and car and instead needed a cab? The driver was a bit puzzled. "You don't need to take me up. Just drop me off at the foot of the hill." "Alright, buckle up please." The driver stepped on the gas and took off. Not far away, in a fancy business car, David Collins was watching all this, his eyes shining with stars. This young lady was really beautiful. Who was she? Why did she look so captivating? He had never seen such a beautiful girl before, her small face delicate, long hair flowing, radiating a cold aura. Whether it was her looks or her aura, he was mesmerized. She might have just left your place and is now taking a cab home. Looks like a frugal, good girl. His agent Klein read his thoughts and praised. "Maybe she's the blind date your mother arranged for you? This time the standard seems pretty high." Dates? When did his mother start having such good taste in blind dates? "I know you're going home to be with your sister, so I gave you a couple of days off." "Thanks." David patted his shoulder, picked up the gift he prepared for his sister. "I'm off." In the living room, Louisa was sitting on the sofa, drinking coffee. Seeing David, she couldn't help but put down her cup, walked over, and scolded him. "You naughty boy, finally decided to come home? Your sister has been back for a few days, and you're always busy." David laughed and said, "Mom, your hits are getting harder. Have you been eating more lately?" "You naughty boy, are you saying I'm fat?" Louisa hit him again and called for a scale. "I really gained weight." "Oh my God, go tell the chef, don't make my late night snack tonight." "Where's my sister?" David was searching while laughing, but he didn't see his sister. He scratched his head. Had his sister already gone to bed? "Now you start caring about your sister? It's too late." Louisa smirked and turned around. David was a bit confused. What did she mean by "it's too late"? Is my sister missing? "You little rascal. Can't you be a bit serious?" Louisa couldn't help but nudge him. "Your sister's really cool. She's already gone out, and won't be back anytime soon." "Oh, then I'll go upstairs for a shower first." "Hold on, I'm not done yet." Seeing David darting up the stairs, Louisa got a bit miffed. She knew this scamp knew exactly what she was about to say and deliberately avoided her. 40 minutes later, David came back downstairs, found a spot, and started munching on some fruit on the table. "Is she still not back?" Louisa seized the opportunity. "Can you tell me what the hell you're doing every day? You're not getting any younger, you need to think about your future." Suddenly, something crossed her mind. She couldn't help but ask, "I heard things are pretty complex in your circle. Is there anyone into same-sex stuff?" "You're not, are you?" Pfft. David almost choked. "Mom, what the heck are you talking about?" His reaction made Louisa feel a bit suspicious. "Tell me the truth, do you have a boyfriend, and that's why you don't want to come home for blind dates? If that's the case, just spill it." "I'm not a prude." "Mom, what the heck are you talking about? Even if you're gay, I can accept it. It's better than being alone." David was speechless. "Mom, it's not like I can't get a girlfriend. I'm still young and full of life. So why don't you get one? Even though you're not exactly handsome or tall, and getting a bit old." "Mom, I'm only 22. How is that old?" David couldn't help but retort. One of your old classmates, the same age as you, just got engaged the other day. I even went to their wedding. Louisa was getting a bit worried. When is it going to be your turn? David popped a couple of grapes into his mouth. That'll happen soon enough. Really? When? Louisa got excited. So you've got someone you like? Who is she? Do I know her? Yeah, there is a girl who's pretty unique. Really? Whose daughter is she? Louisa quickly asked. What's her name? How old is she? Where's she from? Hearing him say this made her really happy. It's that girl outside our house tonight, and she seemed really special. Outside our house? You mean the Bartley family's daughter? She's Sunny Bartley? David was quite surprised. They used to play together when they were kids, but then Sunny moved abroad with her parents. She had only come back in the last couple of years. She had changed so much that he didn't even recognize her. Yes, she came to visit us tonight with a gift. You should learn from other people's kids. They know how to respect their parents better than you. Louisa couldn't help but scold him. Since you can make an effort to come home, why can't you bring a little something to show respect for your parents? But didn't you say I didn't need to bring anything? Just coming back was enough. I also hoped you'd get married this year. Did you hear that? Louisa complained a bit more, then asked, how long are you staying this time? Sunny's coming over tomorrow. Can I set up a meeting for you too? I actually really like girls with short hair and big eyes. Short hair. Now it was David's turn to be surprised. The girl I mentioned has long hair. Long hair. Louisa thought for a moment. Mrs. Bright and her daughter also came to visit tonight. Her daughter has long hair. Is it her? Louisa took out her phone to show David the pictures. No, not her. David shook his head repeatedly after seeing the picture of the Bright family's daughter, feeling that she was far from the girl outside their house. Are you sure you're talking about the girl who came to our house tonight? Louisa reopened her phone to show him pictures of other heiresses. Did you get it mixed up? Was it Laura who came last night? Or Stella the night before? She flipped through the photos one by one. None of these? Then who on earth are you talking about? I'm not sure either. I think I saw her leave from our front door tonight and get into a taxi. Upon Louisa's careful recall, the only long-haired girls who left their house tonight were the Bright family's daughter and Bella. But Bella had driven her own car, so that it couldn't be her. She's far prettier than any of the girls on your phone. What are you talking about? Louisa put away her phone and said confidently, the only girl prettier than the ones on my phone is your sister. No way. Having heard that his sister grew up in a small town, he was sure the girl's beauty at the front door surpassed his sister's. Just then, a delightful voice suddenly rang out. Mom, I'm home. Upon hearing this, Louisa got up hurriedly. Bella's back? Come on, let me introduce you. This is your brother, David. He's come to see you. She turned around again and couldn't help but scold. You rascal, your sister's back. What are you still sitting there for? Come over here. David looked at this beautiful face. Wasn't she the girl at the front door? Was she his sister? His real sister? Suddenly, he felt as if he could hear the sound of a heart breaking. Love seemed to have come and gone, leaving him feeling empty inside. Arabella, hearing David's name, found it strangely familiar. Looking up, she recognized the tall figure, the hairstyle, the aura. Wasn't he the superstar who stepped on her pills at the airport tonight? Was this guy her brother David? You're my sister? David stood in front of Arabella, towering over her. He couldn't help but reach out and pinch Arabella's face. You're so cute. You look like a doll. What kind of comparison is that? Louisa almost rolled her eyes. Arabella hated being touched, but this guy was so funny and friendly that she didn't get mad at all. Hi brother, I'm Arabella. I know. Mom said you're a well-behaved girl, and indeed you are. David pinched her face again. Arabella, what? Well-behaved? That's because David hadn't seen her in action yet. Oh right, this is a gift for you. David quickly took out the prepared gift and added, I originally wanted to buy you a QY, but the person in charge of that brand is a bit temperamental. I wanted her to make one for you, but she said she was too busy so she refused. So disrespectful. Louisa, Arabella. Did she have a bad temper? Why didn't she know about it? What on earth are you talking about? Before Louisa could finish, David interrupted. I'm just telling it like it is. Everybody knows about her terrible temper. She's notorious in the industry. To get her to make a gift, you've got to catch her in the right mood. Just shut it already. Louisa quickly changed the subject. That girl you were talking about earlier, she's prettier than your sister? Your sister is the most beautiful person in the world. At this, David seemed a bit downcast. True. Unexpectedly, it turned out that the girl was his sister. Arabella took the gift box with mixed feelings. Thanks, bro. Why so formal? Check it out, and see if you like it. If not, I'll get you something else. Arabella opened it to find not QY but another top brand's limited edition jewelry, including a necklace, bracelet, earrings, and ring. It was a whole set of jewelry, certainly not cheap. I like it. It's beautiful. Glad you like it. David couldn't resist ruffling her hair gently as if she were a cute little kid, impossible not to like. Miss Bella, you're back. Late night snacks are ready. David Collins, come and eat. Sis, where were you tonight? David asked affectionately, following Arabella. I saw you take a cab. I could have given you a ride since I was home. Thanks, bro. You guys eat first. I'll go call Serena down. Another servant noticed Serena Collins had been hiding in her room most of the day, possibly feeling blue because of poor grades. No sooner had David sat down than his phone rang. She turned it down again? Forget it, and we won't ask her anymore. Let it be. Upon hanging up, Louisa couldn't help but ask, who was that? What got you riled up? That arrogant music producer I was talking about earlier. I tried to get her to write a song, 10 grand a note, but she turned it down, saying she didn't need the money or have the time. Tonight, my agent offered her 20 grand a note, but we still got turned down. Can you believe how cocky she is? Louisa's hand froze mid-air, the servants all stunned, their gazes turning to Arabella. Arabella calmly asked, is she really that proud? Unbelievably so. You have no idea. Getting her to write a song is like trying to reach the sky. So many people in the industry want her to write a song, even just a piece, but she refuses them all. She may be a world-renowned pianist and music producer, but she shouldn't be so arrogant, don't you think? Arabella nodded. So the person who offered that high price for a song was her brother's agent? Tonight, she had been busy questioning 2 suspects about a fire years ago, but they committed suicide before she could get anything out of them. She was not in a good mood, and turned down the order. She didn't expect that they were all family. You agree she's arrogant too, right sis? Could you just stop talking? Louisa quickly interrupted him. However, David got more and more riled up. I don't need her to write music for me. What's so great about her? Edith couldn't stand it any longer. She put a bowl of soup in front of Arabella. Queen Abby, no, Miss Bella, here's your soup, please enjoy. David's mouth fell open. He stared at his sister in disbelief. What's going on? What happened? Melody? Queen Abby? They're all his sister? Bella, enjoy your soup while it's hot. Take your time. After you finish, I'll help you scold your brother. Louisa said affectionately. He's been griping about you since he got home. Bella is Melody? Queen Abby? How could this be possible? What's so impossible about that? Your sis is loaded with talents. Isn't that reasonable? Louisa shot him a sideway glance, seemingly finding his astonishment amusing. David was stunned for a while before asking, didn't Bella just finish her college entrance examination? She's only 18. In the prime of her innocent years. How could she possibly be the founder of QY? Or the famous pianist and composer Melody? What on earth happened to her to bring about such a massive change? Oh, by the way, the one who aced the college entrance examination this year was also your sister. Louisa's tone was calm, but David was stunned again. Shock couldn't even begin to describe his feelings. He heard this year's college entrance examination was a tough nut to crack, twice as difficult as last year, and Bella aced them? Worse still, he had just mocked her for being arrogant and bad-tempered. Was it too late for regrets now? He just got back and hadn't had the chance to show off in front of his sister, and his image was already down the drain. What should he do? Can he pretend to have some mental breakdown? How can he get out of this mess? Bro, you're back. A cheerful voice snapped David back to reality. Serena ran to David happily, pulled out a chair and sat down, her eyes sparkling with joy and surprise. Facing David, she felt much more relaxed, unlike the tension and caution she felt when she saw Hans Collins. She was completely at ease now. Bro, when did you get back? Why didn't you tell me in advance, so I could pick you up at the airport? With David's popularity, there would be a crowd at the airport to pick him up, and we wouldn't get a chance to meet him. Martha said, beaming at David, David, you have no idea how often Serena talks about you. It's like my ears are gonna grow calluses. The servants around were at a loss for words. The last time when Hans came back, Martha said the same thing. She's quite a turncoat. Bro, about the favor I asked you last time. Serena hesitated, her eyes full of anticipation. I've taken care of it. David smiled and patted her head. Evelyn's 10 autographs are in my bag. I'll give them to you later. Awesome. I knew you're the best. Serena's face lit up with a pure and innocent smile. She's a fan of Evelyn, a renowned dancer. Evelyn participated in David's reality show as a mentor this year, so Serena seized the opportunity to ask David for Evelyn's autograph. With David's status, getting a few autographs was a piece of cake. I have her WhatsApp, and I can give it to you later. Upon hearing this, Serena was overjoyed, her voice even sweeter, thank you. She glanced at Arabella subconsciously, her eyes filled with defiance and show off as if saying, Brother got me 10 autographs from a star and added her on WhatsApp, while you got nothing. Who's more important in his heart? See it for yourself. Arabella was at a loss for words. Was it really necessary to make such a fuss over 10 autographs? Bella, do you have any favorite stars in the entertainment industry? If so, don't mention autographs and pictures. If you like him, next time he attends an event, I'll take you there for a face-to-face chat.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.